Good day to you, gentle person. Thank you for joining me as we look at Happy Man, a rather neat little sort of horror game made for a game jam, the global game jam, something like that. But yeah, it's a very impressive little, very short little sort of horror atmospheric experience, a little escape room in a way. Yeah, and I wanted to show it off. We might actually play it all the way through because it is very short. But I do recommend coming, giving it a look, and giving the dev some love. Checking out. The dev's got a couple of other games on itch.io. A link is in the description, so come check it out. Let's jump in and start. What interests me is it says for educational use only down on the bottom right here. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what that means, but I'm glad it's there because I'm always a fan of things that are for educational use. So let's hit the play button and see where this game takes us. So we find ourselves here in this horrible locked room facing this lad who is apparently Happy Man. And we say no way this is gonna work, so I'm not quite sure what this is, who this is, what is going on. But he appears to be a sort of a humanoidish figure without a head, but with these two masks that are staring at us. Anyway, I believe he is the bad guy that has locked us here. So we need to kind of work around him. And now there is the door, but we can't get to that because we're chained up. There is this thing over here, which is a rock. So now we have a rock. We can't use the rock on him, I don't think. We decide that he is not rockable. If we take a look down, however, we can see these are the chains that have chained us up. Can we unselect the rock? And we also have this token on the floor, which is very interesting. So now we have a token. We can't remove the chains yet. We also have this kind of drain cover with some screws on it. There's something underneath there, but the drain is screwed down. So nothing else useful that we can see there. Let's have a look over to the right. And we have a generator with a door that is screwed on. We have a television that doesn't work. And there is a mirror, but a frail mirror. And of course that is a quite useful clue for us to say, well, let's whack the mirror with a rock. And we get a piece of glass. I'm assuming that's what it is. What would be nice is if we could have a look at the items in our inventory. Anyway, there's the mirror. We didn't hit the mirror with anything, so that's fine. And now over here we have some keys hanging up. The rope is too sturdy to pull the key off, apparently. We have a sneaky brick. And if we I suppose pull away the brick or push the brick or something, we see these glowing eyes, and he demands a token. So if we give him a token, we get the number 7. It looks like a 7 birthday candle, actually, with a little thing above it. I assume that's what it's meant to be. It would be so nice if we could look at the things in our inventory. We have a vent, which we need to turn off before we can look at it. We have a newspaper. Let's have a look at this. It is the Daily something. World News. Information wanted. Hodoken. Hodoin? I don't know. Mrs. Martha Dill of Nostoc, Connecticut. Nangatek? Something, Connecticut. Wishes to know the whereabouts of her brother James Hodgin, who came to Utah about 5 years ago. He wrote one letter to his mother. His sister says he is a member of the church and has a family. She has written 2 letters addressed to him at Salt Lake City, but both have been returned. I wonder if that's supposed to be us? We don't know. This is never really explained. I'm assuming there's a little bit of lore in there that we need to unpack a bit more. And we have a box of instruments. I'm guessing it's like a toolbox is what it means there. But this is locked. But if we use the sharp glass onto the sturdy rope, we get a key. And we use the key on the instruments box. And we have 2 things. Now this is a screwdriver quite clearly, but I don't know what this is. Is this like a circular saw? I think it might be. So, first of all, generator, the door is screwed on. So if we unscrew the door, we can turn off the power, which seems like an unwise idea. Fortunately, we have a torch. Happy Man has gone, and we are given another number. So it says 2, so 7 and 2 so far. On the door, but we can't. We're still chained up. Let's have a look at our chains. And if we use this, which I think is supposed to be the circular door, we are able to undo our chains. And if we unscrew this, we get a gun, which is quite a surprising find in a drain, but nevertheless we have a gun. And if we have a look over here, we now get to look at the vent, and we see that there is a number, so 7, 2, and 9. But I think that's everything we can get in terms of having no power. So if we go back and turn the power back on, we can do without the spotlight. Now we have been unchained, so in theory we can depart. And we have a code here. We know the code is something like 729. I don't know what order. I don't know if there's a thing that gives us the order, but we can just brute force it. 729. No. Let's try 972. No. 927. And we escaped for now. And then we can restart, go back to where we were, and do the whole process again. And that is the game. That is obviously all the gameplay I'm going to show you, because to a certain degree there's all the gameplay that there is. Although if we can, just to show it off, head back here, cut the key, use the key in the lock, we have the screwdriver, this thing, pick up the gun, and then blast the dude. We're not fast enough. The moment we try and shoot him, the giant terrifying teeth of doom come and consume us. So that was the first thing I did. Yeah, and that's it. Alright, so that's all the gameplay I'm going to show. So if you are just here for the gameplay, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, telling me what you liked about the video specifically, or disliked about the video. Or you can talk about the game, but come and tell the dev what you liked about his game as well. You know, I don't want to take credit for the developer's game. But yeah, tell me in the comments what you think. What you think I should focus on. Just general's chatter, actually. I don't really care what you say, just as long as you chat it to me, so I know I'm not yelling out into the void. And thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye. But if you're here for the critiques, well, this is a Game Jam game, and I like Game Jam games. I think Game Jams really do bring the essence of a game out, because you're forced to focus on the pure details. You don't have enough time for all the niceties. Having said that, I do like the niceties, so while acknowledging this is a Game Jam game and there was no time for most of the stuff, I do like to point out the things that are missing, that I feel are missing in the critique section, just because that might help other developers, or help these developers if they want to make this game bigger and have it what might you say, have it expanded, and maybe haven't thought of something. So you know, maybe that might be of an advantage to them. I might think of something that they haven't thought of anyway. So yeah, obviously there is no menu. We've just lost focus of it and broken it. Let's reload it. It's obviously made in Unity. Let's make it big again. So yeah, so there's no menu, just hitting escape just breaks it. We do have the Happy Man here, who is this terrifyingly strange figure with a huge mouth, I guess. I don't know why there's like barbed wire in the corners here. Yeah. there is no UI, there's no tutorial, nothing like that. I don't think there's too much need for a tutorial. I mean, it is supposed to be a puzzle game that we're figuring out. I do think that kind of the beginning of the game needs a little bit more pizzazz just to make the entry into the game a little bit more special for the player. But this is a pretty good start. Sounds, the game is quite excellent. It sounds, I love the sounds of it. It is, a nice brooding hum. There's a little bit of a skip as it loops, unfortunately, but that's the nature of it sometimes. That sort of little brief skip could be worked out, I'm sure, with a little bit more detailing. There's good dungeon numbers, kind of the distant buzz and the dripping and the knocking in the distance and that kind of stuff. The sounds are quite lovely. The art is very, very good. A little incomprehensible, like we're not quite sure what is going on here with Happy Man, and it does seem a little weird that he's just here in the way, but doesn't stop us or whatever. So there's a bit of a disconnect here that you're not quite sure what's happening on. That does add to the surreality of it, but it would be nice if there was one more view, like if we could look behind us, and he was just there, menacing us as we were stuck, chained in the middle of the room or something like that. That would certainly be interesting. I'm also there's a comment on this lad. I suppose the thing that this makes me think of is the idea that we have a really good horror story that has been rendered down into its individual parts. This guy should be sort of by the front door of the house or lurking around, and we have to avoid him. These various items, like this basement should just have the items that breaks us free of the chain. And then we get up into the rest of the house and we have to find, the gun and maybe use it to put him down for a bit and all of that kind of things. I mean, I think that's kind of the mental picture that is held here. And they were forced to kind of combine the longer horror story, into some interesting puzzles for this kind of game jam offering that I think they made in 2 days or something like that. I'd love to know where this artwork came from. I think these are photos of an actual basement that have just been rendered through a filter. God only knows where this came from. Hopefully that's not actually in their basement, otherwise I think they've got bigger problems than a game jam. So that's the art. The game looks good, but it does feel massively over-concentrated. I suppose we've drifted off the art and onto the actual gameplay. I would like it if he was behind us, because we don't really interact with him. He really is just there for the visual scare. And I suppose because he's blocking the number 2 and disappears when the lights go out, which is quite disturbing as well. There's no animations or anything like that, because those are very, very difficult to do, and that's the nature of the game. I mean, I suppose our looking around is kind of an animation, and I'm not sure what's with the barbed wire up in the top left and bottom right of the screen, just for visual effect, I guess. I wonder how much of it is based on lore that they never had time to answer. Is the barbed wire something relevant? What does this mean? Are we the missing person? Why is this paper ripped up and stuck against the wall? Like, what's going on there? Why does Happy Man or whatever not try and stop us when we escape? Is this a test? Are we part of a cult or something? I would love to know what the lore behind this is. And I guess there's a certain charm in games like this, and that they let us wonder ourselves what's going on. Let our sort of the players' imaginations unravel and look at things. But it would be nice if the game did some of the storytelling for us. I don't know. Also, it is a little bit funny that the thing that comes out of the instruments box is like a circular saw. It looks like a hand buzz saw. I think that's what they're called. Rather than a pair of bolt cutters, the traditional bolt cutters that would probably get through this chain. It would be difficult, but you could use that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's huge potential here for this game to be unfolded. There's huge potential sort of lore. I do like what I'm assuming is the main sort of antagonist is this Happy Man. I would love to see more storyline with him. I'd love to see him animated and moving around. That would be quite amazing. There is a lot in this game that could be well unpacked. But as it is a nice atmospheric little experience that I enjoyed thoroughly. I enjoyed playing through it. I found it very well executed, and I'm glad to have found it, and I'm glad to have shown it to you guys. And I'm not going to critique it anymore. Just yeah, if you are making a more full-sized horror game, try not to concentrate all of your horror details like this guy and things into to one room with 3 views. Don't forget to expand your game out a bit, but obviously if you're making a little dense game for a game jam, that's not quite necessary. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope this was interesting. I hope you're going to come play this and give the devs some love, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.